Recently, I learned that apparently I am far from normal. I don't mind uncertainty. So, for instance, I've never had a full time job with salary and benefits that wasn't here at PWP Video. And I've been running this business for it's a little over 20 years now. Before that, I was either doing part-time jobs as a kid or worked in restaurants or was freelance in the film and video industry. And I've been working since I was about 12 years old. But yeah, never had a real job with salary and bennies. So when I was in film school, that was in Chicago originally, I was really afraid that I would never be able to work in my chosen field because I didn't know, or my family didn't know anyone in the industry. And then at one of those restaurant jobs, I happened to wait on a table with two nationally recognized music video directors, and they were storyboarding their next project. And that turned out that it was a volunteer gig for a popular local band in Chicago. So when I mustered up the courage to ask them if I could help, I was able to get on the job as a production assistant, and that broke me in. And I went from being obsessed with the fact that I didn't know anyone in the business to actually dropping out of film school so I could be a full-time freelance production assistant. I definitely had no idea that was going to be next for me. And in other surprises, I fell in love with a friend of mine who had moved to the East Coast. I did that after she moved. So that's how I came to move to Philadelphia in 97. Unexpectedly. I never thought I would leave Chicago. So I got some restaurant jobs, and the plan was to go right back to film school and get that done because why not? I didn't know anyone in the business in Philly, right? So then I was driving home through Roxborough, and I spotted what looked like the back of a set wall. And next thing you know, I walked right onto a gig on the movie Beloved. And I hadn't even finished enrolling at Temple. This time, I did go to school, and I did finish. I just finished the movie first. So while I was at Temple, I made a friend who ended up becoming my best friend in Philadelphia, which was nice. But of course, he decamped to the West Coast when we graduated. And right after finishing, the chair of my department referred me to a random alumni who wanted to hire a student to fly around the world to film HR videos in leather tanneries. So that's how I accidentally started PWP Video. I had my first reel, my first little bit of gear, and it was all from traveling 28 days to 5 continents in coach. It is a very good thing that I am not tall. So at that point, a friend of mine from my restaurant days got a gig at a nonprofit doing their events, and she invited me to do the videos for the 125th anniversary of the English Foundation. And that's when the light bulb went off that I could do video work in my own business and with people who were working on missions instead of producing industrial leather goods. So what was next? I married the girl I came to be here with, built my business, saved the business from the Great Recession. Unfortunately, we couldn't save the marriage. And then the best friend who had left for LA suddenly and very unexpectedly passed away. But it was around that time that I met a new partner who I'm happy to say I'm still with, and we're very happy 8 years later. So by the time this whole COVID thing showed up, which my partner had twice, mind you, it just felt like the regularly scheduled, unexpected turn of events. As a matter of fact, beyond my partner getting sick, my life remained surprisingly the same. This office is attached to my house, so working from home is very old news for me. PWP started streaming a lot of virtual events, but streaming is very old news for us. So watching everyone else be so completely off balance has been really fascinating to me. Not the ones who are fighting for their lives. I mean, those of us who are lucky to be a degree or two removed from the devastation of COVID. But my whole adult life has come as a bit of a surprise. First surprise being that I'm actually considered some kind of an adult at all, but whatever. But maybe it's the entrepreneur in me. Maybe I'm just naturally okay not knowing what's next. Or maybe somewhere along the way, I've come to terms with the fact that we can't know what's coming. So thinking about this story slam and trying to get my story together, I started to think about this mission-driven group of people that are joining us tonight. And I started thinking a lot about the clients that I've met over the years of the various nonprofits. And a lot of what we're trying to do as a whole is help people who do not know what is next. They're food insecure, housing insecure, financial insecurity, and it doesn't take COVID to upend their lives. A simple flu can do it. I mean, not to mention the risks of violence, discrimination, and seemingly unending inequity. So those of us who have privilege have a better idea of what's next. And I think that's why we've been so busy trying to predict the future. So I think I'm going to try and remember that privilege, keep trying to fight inequities, and keep finding and telling stories that will help the collective us do that work. And if we can all buttress each other and hold each other up through pandemics and insane governments and whatever tsunamis are heading our way, then maybe we can help there be less people who are truly terrified about what's next. Thank you.